Welcome to Saturday Showcase presented by 5-Hour Energy. We're in Norma, Illinois for a big one in the Valley. A rematch of a classic from 3 weeks ago, this time in Normal, as Loyola Chicago, the Final Four darlings from a season ago, take on the Redbirds of Illinois State. This is a big game in the Missouri Valley. You can see why. Loyola on top, a couple of bad road losses. Otherwise, they've been great. Illinois State on their heels. And we've had already a result tonight where Missouri State has been beaten. They dropped to 5-5. So this is a massive game in the Valley. Hello again, everybody. Along with Malcolm Huckabee, I'm Dave Lamont. We're delighted to be here. We had the pleasure of calling this 3 weeks ago in Chicago, but we anticipate an equally exciting game. And for Loyola to get this W on the road, they're going inside to one of the best players in the conference.
Cameron Krutwig is one of the best players, not just in the Missouri Valley Conference, but in the country. He is a guy that is a matchup nightmare. His last game, he had 22 and 11. He is a guy that is a focal point coming into this game for Illinois State. And then on the other side, Malik Yarbrough. He is the definition of versatility. He does a little bit of everything for his Illinois State club. This is going to be a key matchup in tonight's game for Loyola. Can they keep Malik Yarbrough under trap?
And the 1,000-point club has a couple of newer members. Phil Fain, over 1,100 in his career, and man, has he been playing well lately. And the man who runs the Ramblers on the court, Clayton Custer, the senior from Kansas and the former Iowa State Cyclone. And we're underway with Illinois State in the home gray tonight. Randy Heimerman, Ed Crenshaw, and Gene Grimshaw in charge of the game. Immediately, Copeland for three. And the rebound for Loyola to Ugwak. When you take a look at Loyola starting five, Bruno Skopna getting the opportunity with Williamson out for almost the rest of the season. Maybe able to see him at March Madness, perhaps, if he's ready after hand surgery.
Well, Dave, Illinois State starts this game off in man-to-man.
And Krutwig ran out of room that time. Well defended. We should point out one more thing. We showed you Illinois State starting five. They don't have much more behind it. They only have three other guys.
Really short-handed, and you can see how they want to play the post. As soon as that ball left the hands that enter into Cameron Krutwig, a guy was immediately going to double. He's going to face a heavy dose of double team tonight, Cam Krutwig.
They saw a lot of zone that did Loyola in the first matchup. Fain face-up jumper, no good. Rebound, Skopna. And at times, Malcolm, Loyola just destroyed that zone. Other times, they went very dry.
And that's something they're going to have to avoid tonight, those dry spells.
Yeah, Custer over in the corner. He cops out now. Evans did a nice job getting in front of him. 6 to shoot. Ugwak on the drive. Lost it. In trouble. Shot clock violation.
Shot clock violation. Possession to Redbird.
Well, the crowd showed up early, and early on, Illinois State is feeding off of that energy on the defensive end, getting after it. Nice hustle by Phil Fain.
And two of your big guys, Fain and Yarbrough, getting the floor burns on that play. That shows you the importance of this game for both teams. And Copeland just flat lost it. He shares the ball handling duties with the senior Evans. Take a look at Porter Moser. And we'll tell you about something that happened today with Porter Moser here at Illinois State that will actually make you feel good. We'll get to that a little bit later on. Well, he is drawing almost a triple team. Custer. Ugwak struggling with that ball. And we finally have points on the board. It took nearly 2 minutes and 10 seconds before maybe the hottest player in the Valley right now, Marcus Towns.
We got three guys in the contention right now for Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference. And one of them, Marcus Towns, that time showing off the mid-range game. He has been on fire. Last 8 games, he's over 50% from the floor.
Mistake there by Evans. He doesn't make many, and that's going to be a turnover for the Redbirds. And Dan Muller, coaching at his alma mater. He was a tremendous player here.
Two-time Defensive Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference.
Yep.
And He can ball. We're going to talk about his staff later on in this broadcast as well, too.
Yeah, we could put together a pretty nice game after this game is over with if the coaches feel like it. You'd be playing, not me.
You can be the rebounder or maybe designated screener.
Boy, defense is dominating here early. A desperation flip, and Custer sneaks in to steal the rebound. And Custer's doing the right thing. Both these teams need to settle down a little bit. Now they bring Krutwig to the top, out of the foul line. And draws the double and calmly fights it off and scores.
I'm going to say it again. He's not just one of the best bigs in the Missouri Valley Conference, but in the country. Last season, freshman of the year in the Missouri Valley Conference, a big piece on that Final Four run. He's picking it up this year right where he left off. Last game, he had 22 and 11. He is just a handful to match up with.
Sean Evans from three. He has made 3 threes in each of his last 3 games, and the Redbirds need his outside shooting, and he usually shoots well in this building.
And that's a breakdown by Loyola. You cannot give him any airspace. As you said, shooting well as of late.
My goodness, Towns just continues to be hot. He had 21 in the game 3 weeks ago in Chicago, and he comes right back. He's got 5 already.
Well, he's so strong, great body control, and the ability to raise up on his jumper really is impressive.
Yarborough, this is Zach Copeland. Runs into some trouble here. Fain, that's a good bailout plan. Missed, got it back, and count it! Uguak hit with that foul. And Phil Fain, talking about players who are playing brilliantly right now. This guy, Phil Fain, not once, but twice, and he'll go to the line when we come back.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%. And in part by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need.
You don't get to the NCAA tournament and have the impact Loyola Chicago had without winning the Valley first. And they beat Illinois State. And then on we go to the 2018 tournament. The 11 beats the 6 with a buzzer beater to take down the Canes. Then another late shot. Down goes Tennessee, number 3. Off we go now, Nevada. Gone with another late shot by Towns. And then, not quite as dramatic against the 19 Kansas State. And off they go to the Final Four where the run ended against Niche again. For that man there, Porter Moser, who today had an unusual speaking engagement.
Yeah, it really did. And obviously came back to the school that let him go. And both him and Dan Muller still remained very cordial friends and asked him to come back. And something obviously that's a rarity in today's game where a coach gets let go and then comes back and actually speaks at a function. But class act on both ends by Porter Moser and also Dan Muller.
Free throw was missed, so we remain at 7-5. A little bit shaky for the two teams offensively, or it just might be great defense. A combination of the two leading to that turnover there. Here's some photos of a luncheon that happened earlier today. Packed house to hear the former Redbird coach and the current Redbird coach. You see Dan Muller right there.
And again, it's just really a rarity that you see something like that, but they legitimately wanted this to happen. And again, hats off to both of them. It's just not about them. The community wanted that, and it really was a fantastic event this afternoon.
14 to shoot. Substitutions coming in. Yarborough's going to check out. And William Tinsley comes in for the Redbirds. And also for Loyola, we'll get Franklin Agunani, number 33, coming in. And Krutwig will take a break and have Porter Moser had a very brief and very one-sided conversation with him when Krutwig sat down.
That's typically how it goes with coaches as you come out of the game. Nobody wants to come out of the game, no player. But certainly Porter Moser needs to have him rested. And obviously the turnovers is something that we're going to watch for both teams, but in particular for Illinois State. That was an issue late in the game. In that game, January 12th, where they lost by 3 to Loyola.
Copeland, under 10 to shoot. That is Tinsley. He's a senior. 3 to shoot. Evans is going to have to let it loose. No problem. And the Redbirds take the lead. Keyshawn with 2 threes. And a little bit of heat coming from the Redbirds defense as well. Also in the game, Cooper Kafis, number 23 in Loyola colors. And then we're deep into the shot clock here with 6 to shoot. Towns may have to do this himself. He'll draw offensive foul. Chastain hung in there and gets the call against Loyola.
Well, the intensity on both sides, high. Nice defense that time by Chastain, sliding his feet. A good call by the ref, and obviously Porter Moser not happy with that call. I think the jacket does not stand a chance in the next 4 minutes. I think it's coming off pretty soon in this one.
I thought the tie was going to go there for a second. He got really hot about that call, and that was a close call, no doubt. Isaac Gassman, number 0, getting a chance here. Evans, step back. And that heat check is chipped, no good. Uguak sprinting with Evans chasing him, and I knew he was there. And Uguak wisely got out of harm's way.
And that's a great closeout that time by Uguak on Evans.
Agunani Custer, his first shot of the night. Rebound Chastain. Trying to go inside to Fane. They go there. And steal by Kafis. Oh, great pass to Custer. I don't even know how he saw him. Uguay. Agunane. Nope. And Chastain again, who's an excellent athlete. That guy can sky.
Well, we saw the defense that time. Excellent block out after the contest on the post move.
Well, you already get this sense of the intensity of this matchup. Just never mind the crowd. And we shouldn't say never mind the crowd, but you just feel it from these players, how important this game is. Gassman off the screen, and that's going to be a kick ball. I actually thought that pass hit Fane, but the ruling on the court is kick ball. Chastain will check out. Zach Copeland comes in. Fane's going to check out. Evans is going to check out. So big substitutions here for the Redbirds. Yarbrough's come back in. Redbirds kind of had to figure out who's going to inbound the ball.
Right now, Loyola has Stokna guarding Malik Yarbrough.
And Yarbrough pleading for the rock, and he gets it. He's doubled right now. Somebody's open. It's Gassman. Tough lefty shot in traffic. And Isaac Gassman, who does not play very much, he earned a scholarship a year ago, is getting a chance tonight with Josh Jefferson and Matt Hine unavailable. And it's a 7-0 Redbirds run.
That's a nice little dribble drive off the head fake. He made that look easy. That's a difficult runner off the glass.
And there's that slip that Krutwig is so good at, but he's running into a lot of resistance right now.
Take a look at a nice skip pass by Malik Yarbrough. Don't settle for the jumper. Take the hit and kiss it off the glass. That is tough right there.
And Gaspin will check out, getting a nice hand and a lot of love from his teammates. Custer dishes to Towns. Towns, that's a step back. And a rebound by Idowu in the game now. The freshman, Loyola's has not scored a bucket for 4 minutes. Tinsley. And a big rebound by Krutwig. And Loyola has had these spells this season. Kafis, quick hands there by Copeland, knocked it away. Malcolm, indescribably, Loyola has had 2 disastrous road games this year where they failed to score 40 points in both of them. And there's going to be a foul there on the shot attempt by Towns. Loyola's slumping right now, but they'll have an opportunity when we return against the fired-up Redbirds team playing great defense for Dan Muller. Got an ACC Big 12 Big Monday doubleheader on ESPN. Number 15 Louisville squares off against number 12 Virginia Tech in Blacksburg at 7 Eastern. Then off to Lubbock, West Virginia. Number 16 Texas Tech. West Virginia picked up a win today. This is their second. They're struggling a little bit, but they're never an easy out. Both games are available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere. And if Virginia Tech gives up 25 points to Louisville, that'll be one more than they gave up today against NC State. What in the world happened there?
Wow, I mean, some of these scores you look at, I mean, you have to do a double take. You're like 20 points, 24 points. My goodness, not much offense whatsoever, but credit the defense. Really just been outstanding, but really hard to figure. Teams can't muster 30 points in a game.
Well, forgive the pun, but let's get back to normal because, listen, I love you, but I got tired of asking you for keys to the game, so we decided to go to somebody who's actually playing in the game. Phil Fain of Illinois State helped us out with what he thought would matter tonight.
Defensively, not having any breakdowns or anything, knowing our switches and our rotations, is moving to the ball faster and sprinting back in transition. I think that's a big key for us. Being a force down low as well, like having all of our players ready to shoot the balls when we kick it out down low and everything. But I think being a force down low is going to be a big offensive key for us to clinch the W tonight.
So how's that working out so far?
Well, I tell you right now, his mom and dad, Phil Sr. and Jackie, you'd be proud of that young man. He's going to be taking my job. Just impressive. And he's right. He's right on about the keys. In that first game, Loyola, because they have such great spacing with their offense, they didn't have their switches down. So when they were switching, Loyola was picking them apart.
That's a travel. And Fain is going to check back in along with Keyshawn Evans, so some experience coming back in for the Redbirds. A couple of seniors, and you think, man, Yarbrough's a senior, Evans is a senior, Tinsley is a senior, Fain is a senior. Don't feel bad for the Redbirds looking ahead.
No, he's got this thing. Both programs really in good shape with these coaches at the helm. And right now in this game, you can see Illinois State doing a nice job defensively, not only switching as they did right there, but I think keeping Loyola off the offensive glass. They've done a nice job blocking out.
And Kafis drew that foul, able to get Copeland up into the air. That'll be 2 already on Zach Copeland.
You got to stay down. Nice little head fake right there. That's a poor closeout, one of the few we've seen early on in this game. You got to close out under control. Can't go for that head fake, and Coach Dan Muller's going to take him out and talk to him about that.
Well, again, only 8 available tonight, so you have to be conscious of that and conscious of your role defensively and trying to avoid fouls. So Isaac Gassman, number 0, comes back in for the Redbirds. Skogna, 7 to shoot. Towns, and he travels. And Porter Moser is on Ed Crenshaw big time about that call.
I'm surprised the jacket is still on. I'm going, that thing is coming off. In about 2 minutes, that thing is definitely coming off.
He was in a lot better mood about 12:30 Central Time when we talked to him today. I'm just saying. Turnaround, Yarbrough in the book. And he's got to be hot. It's been forever since Loyola has actually put in a basket.
Well, Malik Yarbrough, you take a look at him there, one of the most versatile players in college. He does a little bit of everything. He has been a matchup nightmare, and right now leads the Missouri Valley Conference in points per game.
Skogna, first basket since the 16:05 mark, but Loyola only trails by 2.
It was a big one. They were stagnant. As you talked about, they've had these stretches where they just struggle the ball, score the ball. And
offensive foul that time, in the opinion of Randy Heimerman. Yarbrough led with his arm. I want to remind everybody later tonight on ESPN Plus, you might be watching us on that right now. We also have Top Rank Boxing as Storm Alvarez and 35-year-old Sergey Kovalev meet again to decide the light heavyweight world title. Alvarez won the first fight with a knockout last August, and ESPN Plus has all the action beginning at midnight Eastern. Towns will pull up Jay, and Loyola hit back-to-back buckets to tie this game.
His mid-range game is lethal. It's hard to imagine he was on the same high school team as Carl Anthony Towns. They did not lose many, but out of New Jersey, I'll tell you right now, his mid-range game is just so impressive to watch how he raises up on guys.
Free ball, Yarbrough chips iron. Kafis pulls it down. Plays off Krupwig's screen, gets tripped. It was an inadvertent foul on Fain, but it's going to go in the book nonetheless.
Man, it is a physical game to start off both ends, and both teams giving up nothing easy. Contested shots, guys getting hit going through the lane, and we expected nothing less coming into this matchup.
It's a lot at stake. First place in the Valley held right now by the defending champions, the Ramblers. However, one game back of them, the Redbirds. Last game came down to the last shot. If Copeland hits it, we might still be there. Wow, corner three from Capus, and all of a sudden it's a 7-0 run.
And that's a beautiful pass out of the out of bounds. Almost like a really out of bounds cross court pass. It was on point, and Capus just let that thing fly.
They've got Skopna with Yarborough again. Evans, see if he finds that matchup. He's going to go against Capus. Has to get rid of it with 4 to shoot. Yarborough, 2 to shoot. Yarborough, 1 to shoot. Yarborough got it off, and it goes! And it's a 3. But, yeah,
the refs are going to take a look at it to see whether or not he got it off in time. Now, in real time, it looked like he got it off, but right now the refs have the ability, and we do, to slow it down and see whether or not he got it off in time.
And was it a 3?
Definitely, I think he was behind the three-point line. The question is whether or not he beat the shot clock. There's 2. Yes, I think he's got it off, and
it looked to be in the naked eye first that he got it off in time. I did not look at his feet. I was looking at the clock. So if that's the only issue, then we are tied at 15, and we are. And very quickly, they have decided to go ahead and count the basket. Here's a good look at it. Oh, yeah, well behind the three-point line.
And yes, he got it off, and that's a tough break for Loyola. They had them deep in the shot clock. But Malik Yarbrough bails them out right now, the leader, points per game in the Missouri Valley Conference. And he is a guy that has just been a handful throughout his career in the Missouri Valley Conference to match up with.
And out of that little free timeout, Illinois State comes out with some heat defensively and then backs off. And they've been switching defenses a lot, the Redbirds.
And I like this move right here, in particular with Krutwig.
Alley-oop for Ugwak, and that not work. Yarborough comes out. He might be feeling it. Gets by 1. Tries to get by 2, and he does. Oh, Yarborough. Almost court to court, end to end.
So difficult to match up against. That time, rebound, get out, push it yourself, go coast to coast. Degree of difficulty off the charts, how he was able to get that thing to fall.
Skopna, Capus inside, and no. Wave it off. Foul will be on Krutwig.
Well, right now, Malik Yarbrough leads the Missouri Valley Conference in points per game. Right there, off balance 3. Shot clock winding down, and then right here, get to the hole, take the hit. Illinois State up 2.
Our Sunday showcase in the NBA on ABC. 2 p.m. Eastern tip. Kyrie Irving and the Celtics and Russell Westbrook and the Thunder. NBA Countdown starts at 1:30 Eastern. Both available live on the ESPN app. So while you're arguing over what the best commercials are going to be tomorrow, you can also watch the game. NBA Sunday Showcase presented by Mountain Dew Ice. Now you're looking at Will Robinson, who coached here in the early 70s along with the great Doug Collins. The floor is named after here. And Doug Collins is everywhere here. The man who made the 2 most clutch free throws in the history of basketball in the Olympics in 1972. And Will Robinson, of course, was the man who coached him here and had a brilliant career at Illinois State.
And the first African-American coach in NCAA Division I history. That is an important date in 1970. It took a lot of courage by a lot of people that were involved with Illinois State, in particular Doug Collins as well, too. But certainly a phenomenal story and a well-deserved statue.
Steal by Custer, the reigning player of the year. Whoa, goes to the right hand, and a smart move by the senior. We've had 2 ties, now 3 ties, 3 lead changes, and the largest lead so far for both teams, 4.
And every bucket for both sides has been a tough one. That one right there, reverse layup by Custer, contested.
Gassman. My goodness, he's already exceeded his average on the year. He's a pretty good shooter from 3, 36%.
And that's not a bad closeout by Loyola. That's his better offense. That was a high arcing shot by Gassman.
The Custer will counter, and not good. Krutwig got a hand on it, got 2 hands on it, and despite the fact that 3 Redbirds were on him, Krutwig draws the foul on Isaac Gassman.
We're going to take a look at the ball movement by Illinois State. Not a bad closeout, hand up. That's just better offense with the high arcing shot, and that's been the story early on in this first half. Both teams getting after it on the defensive side, making nothing easy on offense.
Towns left open momentarily. That shot too strong. Krutwig trying to get to the rebound against Yarborough, and Yarborough outfought him. That's off of Krutwig, and the ball will belong to the Redbirds.
That's a good break that time, though, for Illinois State. That ball looked like it might have been tipped by Malik Yarborough.
Copeland. Step back from 2. And now we have the largest lead for either team in the game at 5. And once again, Loyola goes a little quiet on the offensive end. Fain and Evans about to come back in for Illinois State.
Illinois State in a matchup 2-3 zone now.
Custer feeling it. Rimmed out. Uguak fighting for the rebound with Tinsley. Tinsley saves it, gets it to Yarborough. He can go the distance. But the defense will try to keep him out of the lane. Triple teamed him. Gassman blocked by Kafis. Shot clock does not reset. Copeland left open for 3. Timeout. Ramblers. Over the last 90 seconds, Malcolm, Illinois State is on an 8-0 run.
And a lot of that, Dave, is loose balls, 50-50 balls. This time, off of a loose ball, Copeland with the 3. They are just feeding off the energy of this building. The crowd has been great, and they have picked up all those loose balls. And I think a big reason why they've confused Loyola on offense, they continue to change their defense. And now they extend their pressure and drop back into that 2-3 matchup zone.
Loyola has either missed everything in sight or made everything in sight in this first half. They go through quiet stretches into the big guy early, and off the window is Cameron Krutwig, a freshman of the year in the conference last year.
He does a great job establishing post position. That time he got deep, and he's got such great touch. We talked about it at the tip, shooting over 63% on the year.
Evans got in some trouble. Yarborough with a great pass to Fain, and he missed him in close. Very surprising. Krutwig with a rebound, and Towns quickly into the front court trying to beat the Redbirds back, but he didn't. Inside again, Krutwig. Oh, sweet little move, and he missed it. Chastain with a rebound.
You can't ask for a better look if you're Loyola. You're attacking the zone, and you're still able to get post-ups with one of your best players.
Yarborough's been hot. He's got 9. And Loyola gets a chance to breathe a little bit. We'll give it to Clayton Custer. Under 4 minutes, Illinois State up by 8. At stake, first place in the Missouri Valley Conference. Right now, Loyola holds that by 1 game over the Redbirds. They also beat the Redbirds 3 weeks ago. Krutwig, again, the lefty hook. He'll go to the line. A foul on Fain. And that will be his 2nd. And remember, Illinois State, only 8 available tonight. Foul trouble could be an issue.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Burger King. Try the new Flame Grilled Big King XL, only at Burger King and Expedia. Everything you need to go.
The dude left me out on that one. Okay. Wow, 13 turnovers total. All right, gentlemen, thank you very much. Look forward to hearing from you at the half. Right now, we look forward to the line where Cameron Krutwig, the sophomore, from Algonquin, Illinois, is at the line for the first of a couple. Where he has been okay at the foul line, 55%. That's actually a little less than okay, but last two games, 22 points, 8.5 rebounds, and 4.5 assists.
He is one of the better passing bigs in college basketball, and right now he's playing at a Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference level. He has just been that good. So difficult to match up against.
But Illinois State head coach Dan Muller will tell you who he thinks should be Player of the Year as Krutwig comes up with a block, and that's Towns. He says that's the guy, if I had a vote, that'd be my Player of the Year at the moment.
You can interchange them 1A, 1B, but certainly Towns, I've already talked about his mid-range game. He is just playing at such a high level. Both guys really are in the discussion for Player of the Year.
And for the Redbirds, you look at Fane and Yarborough, who have been brilliant. Fane is really hot right now, and Yarborough's had a strong start tonight. And so gentle, Krutwig with the left hand.
And they're doing a nice job attacking that zone now, trying to soften it up in that middle, right there in that high post, getting Krutwig and then letting him go to work. Now that's how you want to attack that zone.
Yarborough finds Evans in the corner. That one's going to be a little short, and Wugwak into the clouds for that rebound. Towns, I wonder if he thought about a step back there for a moment. Custer, who gave him the play.
Watch Krutwig screen at the middle of that zone.
I think he was expecting the ball. He gets it now. He's looking for help. He's going to have to go. Goes to the right, goes to the right, goes to the footwork, and that ended up being a happy accident as Towns cuts the lead to 2.
That's one of those where you raise your hand for the assist if you're Krutwig. Maybe somebody will go for it, but heads up play that time by Towns being around the ball. And that's a tough break for Illinois State. Looked like they were going to come up with a turnover. Towns in the right place.
If we were Gentili, he would have gotten the assist. I guarantee he doesn't get it here. What we get is another 3 from Yarborough. And a timeout called by Dan Muller very quickly on the Redbirds bench. And it's back to a 5-point Illinois State game, and Yarborough now with a dozen.
And that was a deep 3. I called him one of the most versatile players in college basketball. Malik Yarborough right now leads the Missouri Valley Conference, showing off the whole toolbox. That time, little turnaround. Here's shot clock winding down. Off-balance 3. And then this is what makes him, I think, special. In the open court, his ability to take the hit and finish. So strong. Such great body control, and he is another guy that is in the discussion for Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's a NBA 3 right there. Talent all around on this court on both sides.
And we're not ignoring anybody else in the Valley tonight on purpose. We're just focusing on the people we're looking at that are just a few feet away from our courtside seat. Valley has been a tough league. You never know when you're going to get your lunch handed to you in this league, and it happens frequently.
Top to bottom, really not a bad team. And it's going to be interesting as they get closer to Arch Madness. Right now, though, these two teams are at the top of the standings.
Wugwak off the screen. Will go to the right hand. Tough shot. Well defended that time by Yarborough, and Evans will take it now for the Redbirds.
That's a great contest, and then they finished off the play. Again, they're doing a nice job on the defensive glass, Illinois State.
Yarborough Zugwalk, just a line drive. That thing looked like a 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and it found the bottom of the net, and we're down to a minute to go. Illinois State back up by 8.
Well, that's not bad defense. That's just better offense by Malik Yarbrough. A little step back three, and that was contested.
Custer quickly. Zugwalk so active underneath. That's a big offensive rebound. Custer wants to settle it down. Yarbrough scored the last 8 for Illinois State. He also had a personal 7-0 run. And a reach in on Yarbrough. And that'll be his second foul.
All right here, this is not bad defense by Zugwalk. A little jab step and then raise up on him. A nice recognition by Illinois State, knowing that he is hot. Go to your best player right now, leading the Missouri Valley Conference, and that's tough. If he's knocking down threes like that, really, that's just unguardable.
Well, he's leading the parade, 3 out of 4 from 3, but the Redbirds are 7 of 13 from three-point range right now. Zugwalk will go to the line. And he's looking for his first points. Does have 5 rebounds.
He's the cousin of NBA veteran Luol Deng.
And can't convert the one-on-one. It's about a second difference between the two clocks. And Keyshawn Evans, as close as he can get to a timeout. He jogged over to get the signal from Dan Muller of what to do here.
Well, you know the ball is going to Malik Yarbrough.
It should. Evans going to take it instead. Runs into traffic! Off the glass! Unbelievable shot by Keyshawn. 1 second left, and that will not count. An 8-0 run gives the Redbirds their largest lead, and they haven't lost a game this season when ahead at the half. Let's head to the studio, along with Jordan Cornette and Dallin Cuff. Chris Cotter is in charge. Chris.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Campbell's Chunky, soup that eats like a meal.
Welcome to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy. Benny the Bull wanted to hang out around winning teams tonight, so he came here. And with a finish. Illinois State undefeated this season when they lead at the half, Malcolm Huckabee. But Loyola still has Marcus Towns.
One of the most lethal mid-range games in all of college right here, showing off the catch-and-shoot three. And then this right here is just tough. His ability to raise up over defenders is impressive. On the other side, though, Malik Yarbrough was impressive. Turnaround jumper, check. I got that in my bag. Right here, shot clock winding down, off-balance three. Check that off. I got it. And then this right here is just tough. Guy up all over. Step back three. He was impressive in that first half. 15 points, 3 of 4 from the three-point line, but I think the big number, only 1 turnover in that first half.
He had 5 in the game last time when they played 3 weeks ago at Gentilly, and we began with Loyola controlling the possession. They have come from behind twice this season when trailing at the half, including in their last game against UNI. Meantime, they got to figure out some better defense. Illinois State shot a season best in the first half, a little over 58%, and scooped short, and a rebound to Fane.
And nobody on the offensive glass for Loyola. And that 2-3 matchup zone by Illinois State really has been effective in this game and really has impacted Loyola's offense.
Fane on the drive. Ooh, that was a little bit of a hook. He got away with one there and lays it in for the largest lead of the night for the Redbirds. And Fane is playing with a couple of fouls. And again, might just be joining us. Illinois State a little short-handed tonight, but only 8 players available, and they've used them all. Tough shot, and he draws the foul. Somebody else, by the way, for Loyola that's getting it going is Clayton Custer. He's had a tough first half, only had the 1 bucket, missed 4 3-pointers, and Chastain hit with his first foul. ACC Big 12 Big Monday doubleheader on ESPN. 15th ranked Louisville against number 12 Virginia Tech. That'll be in Blacksburg. That's your opener at 7 Eastern, then off to Lubbock. For West Virginia, number 16 Texas Tech. Both games available on the ESPN app, so you can watch anywhere.
Towns put up some big numbers in high school out of New Jersey, St. Joseph's, and he only trails R.J. Williams. We talked about it earlier, a teammate of Carl Anthony Towns in high school as well, and the future very bright for that young man. I think he's going to play for a paycheck somewhere, whether it's overseas or in the league. He is just that good, and he's putting on a full display tonight.
Made his 61st straight start tonight for the Ramblers. Trailing this game by 10. Yarbrough goes up to get the high pass against Towns. Tough shot. And another rebound for Uguak. Lead it into the front court. Looking for a little help now, though.
I really like Uguak's energy, what he brings to the table. The defensive rebounding, little hustle plays.
Uguak. Custer trying to find his shot. He's way off there. Rebound to Zach Copeland. 0 for 5 now from range for a normally very good shooter. 42% from 3 coming into the game tonight.
And he's really struggled in that first half. Really got nothing going. Not necessarily about the points, but no assist in that first half either.
And we're going to get a foul called. Looked like some pretty solid defense, but it's not going to be the case. And Custer's only had 2 assists in his last 3 games entering tonight, so we'll take a look at the whistle.
Now, back in the day when I played right here, this is just good defense.
I don't see what's wrong with that.
Well, he's saying he did not give him space, and that's...
What's your job on defense? Can I just ask that? Your job on defense is to what?
I got plenty of elbows to show. Nobody really cared about my personal space back in the day, but...
You're not supposed to care about a guy's personal space. This isn't the middle seat of an airline. This is basketball.
You'll get no arguments out of me on that one, but the rule is the rule.
That's just silly. Then we might as well not play defense. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to have just shooting contests at each end, and then we're going to declare a winner after 10 minutes.
You sound like a coach.
Look, I get freedom of movement. Everybody loves a high-scoring game, but a common sense would be nice. That, to me, it shows zero common sense from the people who make the rules.
And now Illinois State goes to the man-to-man. And they're switching on any ball screens or dribble handoffs by Loyola.
Skokna, oh my, Skokna snuck by everybody to lay it off the window.
Skokna showing off some hops that time. Going reverse layup on the other side. That's a strong move.
And Skokna will be hit with a block that time because he didn't give Yarbrough any room.
A nice ball movement right here by Loyola. That's a quick move by Skokna. And he made that look easy. Little up and under. That's a tough shot.
Well, he's a key guy with Lucas Williamson out for a while. Possibly the rest of February before he's going to even be able to run after the hand surgery. A couple of weeks, actually, for running, but actual playing, maybe Arch Madness if he's lucky. So guys like Skokna, Cooper Kafis, whom we've seen, and undoubtedly we will see in this half, they're going to matter a great deal for Porter Moser.
Don't talk much about it, but Lucas Williamson, the 6'4" sophomore guard for Loyola, their best perimeter defender out, as you said, and that hurts him in a game like tonight against Malik Yarbrough.
Yarbrough turns that one over. Towns all the way. He's really good.
And very strong. That's great body control and upper body strength.
Got a hand on that pass, too, but Yarbrough picks it up, going one-on-one with Uguak. Slipped a little, finds Chastain. Get it back to the senior Evans. And Loyola cranking up the defensive intensity here. 5 to shoot. Evans working off the screen, too. He's just going to have to let loose. And missed everything.
That's a great defensive possession by Loyola. They were locked in. Communication on the ball screens. They didn't give up any dribble penetration. Got Illinois State deep in the shot clock, and then they contested. That is their best defensive possession of this game.
Now Custer checks out for Loyola. Kafis comes in. You see Yarborough leaving the match, and Tinsley has come in for him. So 2 number 23s into the game. Towns was rejected the first time he tried to get through. Kafis, Ugwak, used his teammate beautifully, and he'll draw the line. He's unable to get that shot to go. And we will return to see the outcome of those foul shots. Malik Yarborough, his father, was a tremendous player for the Redbirds. We'll take a look at that when we come back.
Talk to us about the impact that your dad, who of course played here, was one of the best players in the history of this program. Talk about the influence that he had on you.
His influence was huge. Actually, he's one of the main reasons why I came here. My dad was he just made everything just easy for me. He was a big influence on a lot of stuff I did.
First of all, bring back those warm-up pants right now. Secondly, here's Dale Yarborough, and his magnificent career was still in the top 10 at this school in rebounds.
And Malik really just lights up when he talks about the impact that his dad had on him. And not only just him, but I remember speaking to him about this, where his friends, he was just such a great influence. And I know he is smiling down on this young man. Really, just a great story, and a future very bright for that young man right there, Malik Yarborough. He is a guy that definitely is going to play at the next level somewhere. He is just that good.
Our thanks to Dick Ludke, the longtime play-by-play announcer here in Normal. He was the gentleman asking the question. Take a look at Ugwak, back of the line, 76% foul shooter, but not that time. He's 0 for 2 from the line. Still looking for his first points. He does have 6 rebounds.
He sat out last season after transferring from New Mexico.
High into the air, and Ugwak comes down with it. Kafis, wide open 3, and he chipped the paint on the front of the rim. Boy, that would have been a gigantic bucket for the Ramblers had that splash down. Fane. He's got an open man. Tinsley. And let's see what the call is going to be. It looks like it's going to be Clinton Custer committed a rebounding foul. That'll be his first. And we'll see what he did, perhaps. Looked like he was boxing out, but he may have done so too vigorously.
Yeah, definitely from this angle, our angle right here, it looked like he was just blocking out. Let's see. All right, that's a good block out. Yeah, there's not much there. That's a bad call. And that's a tough break.
Custer fell playing defense. He's back up. Chastain, and he can hurt you. He doesn't punch often, but when he does, it hurts. Think of the difference now between the missed open 3 and that made 3. And Illinois State back up by 9. I think everybody thought Sounds was going to shoot that, including Agunani. Fane, Copeland begging for the ball. Will he make it pay? Timeout, Ramblers.
Well, in the first matchup between these two teams, spacing and turnovers was an issue for Illinois State. That has not been the case in this game. A nice job spacing the floor, good ball movement. The result, a corner 3, and then passing out of the double team. This is something they worked on all this afternoon in shoot-around, in particular with Phil Fane. A nice split of the double team. That's a beautiful cross-court pass out of the double team. And right now, Illinois State is rolling, and they're doing it with some nice ball movement. And I think the key thing, Dave, they are not turning the ball over in this stretch.
9 turnovers against Illinois State, 8 against Loyola. Illinois State in the matchup in Chicago, 13 turnovers. That call that you didn't like was being discussed during the break. Randy Heimerman, who made the call, explained his way of seeing it to Clayton Custer and also to Porter Moser. So I think there was an arm and a hand in there, and that's what he didn't like about it. And that's going to be a turnover against Loyola. And that will be number 9 for them as they try to force it inside to Cameron Krutwig.
And that's a pass that needs to go to the wing. They're trying to enter it. That's just too far out from the top of the key. They need to swing that to the wing and then try to enter the ball into the post to Krutwig.
Gassman back into the game, and Fain comes up with a loose ball. Gave it to Gassman. Tinsley, 3-ball. Fain the rebound. And you can see right away with Uglak out of there, that ball was one that he would have gotten. But the only big man out there now is Krutwig. Oh my! Nobody boxed out the weak side. It's an 8-0 run for the Redbirds, and now their largest lead is at 14 with 14 to go. Every move in the YMCA handbook right there. Every single one of them. That was beautiful.
He gave a ball fake, up and under, spin move. You're right. He went in the whole 2-back for that one. And that's a tough shot and a big bucket to stop this run by Illinois State.
Every guy over 50 just gave him a standing ovation for that. Free to shoot. Gassman, Fain beats the buzzer. Oh, that would have been damaging to the Ramblers. Skokna fell down. He's okay. Towns. Kafis. Oh, good pass to Krutwig, but he has got Fain all over him, and that's going to be number 3 on Phil Fain. He's the first player in our game tonight to reach 3 fouls, and the Redbirds will be bringing in 3 bodies, including Malik Yarborough, Keyshawn Evans, and Andre Idowu.
All right, here, nice job, team defense by Illinois State. That time, though, Fain a little late on the drop-down help, and Dan Muller's going to get him out of the game.
So with 12:44 to go, Fain leaves with 3 fouls, only 4 points, and also 4 rebounds. Custer comes back looking for his first 3 of the night, didn't go. He wanted a foul, not going to get it.
Well, he's had some open looks, but credit Illinois State. They did a nice job really keeping him out of the lane and then contesting a lot of his shots.
Evans' pass was deflected, but Yarborough was right there to save it. Trying to get it to Idowu, long pass Copeland, 7 to shoot. Tough shot, it's going to draw a foul. Copeland will be heading to the line, 86% shooter. And Bujoso with the foul there, the freshman from Canada, into the game, number 22. Copeland getting closer to his season average. Junior out of Oakland is a tremendous player. City College San Francisco. He's in the top 100 of the JUCO rankings, ranked 42nd.
And playing really well for Illinois State. Last time out had 19 points and 4 of 7 from the three-point line.
Had 21 in a game earlier in January against Valpo. 8 in the matchup in Chicago 3 weeks ago. That was won by Loyola. And now they trail by 13. Ugu back in. Skokna gave up the 3, looking for help. Beautiful pass. And a little hesitation by Krutwig, but he made it pay.
Loyola hanging around in this one. Now they drop back. Looks like they're going to stay in the man-to-man, but they're switching.
Yarborough runs into Krutwig. And contact made by the Ramblers' big man. The Redbirds get the whistle.
It's been back and forth, but the intensity by Illinois State and William Tinsley off the miss.
So on Tuesday, it'll be BC and Duke with Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale, Hubie Brown, and my homegirl Allison Williams. At Kansas State, Luke Schaumby, Stan Van Gundy, and Chauncey Billups. And flip it around, we go to the NBA. Ryan Rocco, Doris Burke, Jay Billis, and Cassidy Hubbard. And then Dave Pash. That's cheating, though. Dave does college also. We'll be happy to not be with Bill Walton as Mark Jackson and Rebecca Lobo will give Dave a rare dose of sanity that he doesn't always get when he announces basketball games.
Oh, that's just good stuff right there. Plenty of good games. We got a good one right here. Loyola trying to hang around in this game.
It's been hard, though. That mountain is getting tougher to climb with the defense that the Redbirds have played tonight. Well, Loyola is shooting a respectable 48%. It's their three-point shooting that has really been bad at 18%. We have bodies all over the floor. Possession arrow favoring Illinois State.
And Dave, I think the number that's hurting Loyola right now, Clayton Custer has 2 points in this game and 0 assists. And that's just not a stat line we're used to seeing from last year's Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year. But they're going to need his offense to close out this game.
Can he find it? Seems to me, Malcolm, his shots have been short tonight, too. Sometimes an indication of tired legs. Only 3 to shoot. Yarborough back iron. And that's going to be, I think, Chastain a little aggressive over the back.
Redbird foul charge to Ray Dolu. His first personal, fourth team foul. Possession out of bounds to the Ramblers.
And that's a better job that time by Loyola as a team of blocking out on the defensive glass.
That was Idowu, by the way, Malcolm. I thought Chastain had taken a swing, but Idowu was hit with that foul. Krutwig's a great passer. Skogna. 3-point continue to be difficult for Loyola. They're now a 2 out of 12.
And that's a clean look. That time they attack the zone the right way, get it to the middle. Krutwig, a good passer, as you said, and that's a quality look from 3. They just really struggle to knock those down.
Ugwak and Yarborough right on each other. Wide open. And that doesn't go. And Krutwig gets a tough rebound with Idowu over his back.
If you're both coaches, you can't ask for better looks. That's 2 wide open threes on both ends. I think fatigue now, in particular, we talked about how shorthanded Illinois State is in this game.
Chastain got a little handsy. Well, one thing that is not working for Loyola, we mentioned three-pointers, Malcolm, in this half. They've taken 5, they've missed 5, but they're 4 for 4 when they shoot for 2. So Copeland will check out. Isaac Gassman, the sophomore from Ottawa, Illinois, has been a key player off the bench for Dan Muller today. Porter Moser told us before the game, it's going to be a player on the periphery that may make a difference in this game, and Gassman has played very well.
Yeah, he really has, and provided them with some shots. So for beyond the arc, played solid defense.
Custer here. That was a third of the way down. So the three-point percentage for Loyola continues to sink. Evans. He had a hot first half, including finishing the half on an acrobatic layup. Yarborough, a lot of contact on that one. I think that's going to be Ahir Ugwak. That foul, that is him, and that is 3 for the Edmonton, Alberta, Canada native.
That's a smart move that time by Yarborough, using the pick and roll and trying to get Krutwig isolated on him.
Evans, 3-ball, over Krutwig, way off the mark. Another rebound for Ugwak. He's getting close to double digits there. And we're staying here, and we're going to have foul away from the ball. That's 2 on Idowu, who got hooked up with Krutwig.
Well, Illinois State's doing a nice job fighting for post position, trying to make it really difficult for Krutwig to establish himself in the paint.
And that foul right there shows you how the game has changed for the rules makers over the years. Years ago, that was normal. But nowadays, it's a little bit different.
Another clean look that time for Custer. That thing was halfway down. It's been that type of night for him.
2 of 14 Loyola from 3. That rainbow, my goodness! Penetrated the roof here at Redbird Arena from Evans. That's 4 straight games for the Fort Lauderdale native in double figures. And 3 threes now in his last 4 games for Evans, and that time a beautiful layup for Custer off a great feed.
Well, they're only down 12. It feels like they're down 20, but
they're running out of time, though.
They're still in striking distance, but you're right. They're going to have to get some stops.
Custer got a hand on it, but Gaspin is there to clean up the mess. Well, it's still weird, Malcolm. They're 0 for 7 from 3 and 5 for 5 from 2. The Ramblers. Evans, 6 to shoot. Good pass. Tough shot. Count it! It's going to count! The 2 Floridians hook up. Fort Lauderdale to Melbourne. Edo, 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3, 4, 5. He'll get a chance for a 3-point play when we come back.
See.
Big Monday doubleheader on ESPN. We start in the ACC with Louisville, who had a tough day against North Carolina, against Virginia Tech, who didn't even score 50 points today and won. That's 7 Eastern. Then West Virginia got a win today, and they'll go to Lubbock, take on number 16, Texas Tech. Both games available on the ESPN app. You can watch it anywhere. You got 4 teams with 6 wins. Kansas a half game out. If they can play all of their games at home, they'll win their 15th straight title. However, they can't. And that has been a problem for them. Most recent road loss to Texas. Both coaches, these guys are in shape. Why not show off? Take off the jackets.
Well, I'm surprised with Moser how it stayed on for as long as it did, but
yeah.
It is crunch time right now, and we talked about it at the top. Such an important game in the standings for the Missouri Valley Conference.
Only 1 game separating these 2 teams. Loyola 7-2, Illinois State 6-3 in conference. And right now we are tied. Illinois State is for the largest lead they've had today. And they switch up the defenses out of the timeout. We've seen that frequently tonight.
And it really has worked. They've done a nice job really just trying to slow Loyola down, giving them different looks. That time they go to a little 3/4 court pressure and then back to their man-to-man.
Custer draws a lot of attention, of course. Capus, 7 to shoot against Chastain. Kicks it. And the ball was just lost. It's just not the night that you are accustomed to with Clinton Custer.
Well, he knows coming into this season, after the Final Four run, the Conference Player of the Year last year, everybody has got a target on him, and that's just really just a slip. I mean, he's got a look right there, took his eyes off the ball for a little bit, and that's a turnover, really an unforced one.
So Skokman comes in to replace him. That's a little mistake there from Copeland. But Illinois State will continue to crank up the pressure. College Basketball Live, presented by Buick, follows us here from Normal, Redbird Arena, with Malcolm Huckabee, Dave Lamont, and our ESPN2 crew. High-profile Missouri Valley matchup. Capus all the way, sent back. Of course, today has not been an easy one for Loyola. Just getting to the shoot-around was a bit of a problem.
It really was. We're going to take a look at some nice outside defense. That time, Phil Fain.
They got on their bus to come to the shoot-around, and the bus had a problem. It could only go about 5 miles an hour. 10 to shoot, we'll explain here in a second. Skokna tries to pass to Krupwig. He does. Krupwig airballs it. Fain cannot handle the rebound. There's 3 seconds left to shoot. So they realize they can't go 5 miles an hour. That's an SAT question. So they end up getting the hotel shuttle, which fortunately could hold 25 people, to take them to and from shoot-around. They did get a new bus, and Sandra Bullock was not seen on either one of them.
And Porter Moser, we were here with him. He was waiting on the team
Where's
to
my
get him.
team? And before we have an inbound, we have a foul called. And it looks like that's going to be on Evans. And that will be the first on the senior guard. And off we go to the line. He doesn't look too terribly happy. He's got a watch party going back in Fort Lauderdale. I know that. Some of his high school homeboys are watching. Sports Center tonight after top-ranked boxing with John Anderson and Kenny Mayne. All the highlights from Lakers Warriors you'll hear from. And the first end of the front end one is good. LeBron, KD, and Steph. And on the eve of Super Bowl 53, the Patriots' keys to stopping Jared Goff and the top moments of both the ring and the octagon. Midnight Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Sports Center. Well, Custer wasn't gone for very long, just enough time to get his act together, maybe dry his hands. And he's 1 out of 2. Even this is not falling for him. He's a 70+% free throw shooter. Fame. No. Illinois State can't quite lock this down, but Loyola can't quite cut this lead. That's too high, too far.
And uncharacteristically, we've seen them make some poor decisions entering the ball into the post, Loyola. That's just really not a good angle to enter the ball. Porter Moser not happy, and that, again, ball needs to go to the wing. They're trying to get a high-low situation, but they're too far out. You got to make an extra pass to the wing and then try to enter the ball into the post.
Well, it's been troubles on the road for Loyola. That's Uguak with a foul. And that's going to be 4 on this sophomore. But when they have had problems on the road, they have had problems, and they've really had a hard time scoring. They've had 2 very, very tough blowout losses on the road. And those are their only 2 losses in conference play this year. They only scored 48 at Evansville and just 35 on January 23rd at Missouri State. And in fact, our game 3 weeks ago was the first time this season that Loyola had won a game when they scored fewer than 70 points. You see what their number are in the Valley. Number 1 in the defense, and their defense again tonight has been very good.
And they do a good job of not putting you on the free throw line right now.
Yes.
Illinois State, that's their 5th free throw attempt, so they're doing a good job. I think the biggest issue they're having offensively has been a struggle.
Well, defensively, they're 7th in the country in scoring defense and tied for 4th in fewest fouls per game. So they play a clean game. Kafis can't buy a bucket. And a rebound goes to Isaac Gassman. Former walk-on. Custer forcing the pass. Chastain, a great look. And it rolled out one more time for Fain, and no luck. And the rebound to Negron, who's into the game.
Well, they did everything right except finish that one.
That's going to be offense. Offensive foul on Towns. Chastain draws the charge. That's 2 on Marcus Towns. He's had a pretty quiet second half.
He really has, but this is just great again. Chastain, he's done this twice in this game. Take charge. That's excellent footwork. He's right there. That's a good call by the ref. Towns lowering the shoulder, and you can't play better individual defense on Marcus Towns as you do right there. That's just a great job of him sliding his feet and then getting in front, taking that hit.
Well, he has 14 points, but he also has 6 turnovers. That was the 6th right there, and he has a seat. Skopna trying to draw the same call, and Porter Moser's looking at the official like, where is that whistle? And he just hung his head. He didn't say much else after that. His reaction said it all. And Negron will draw that foul as he'll have to wipe up the sweat of Phil Fain. One thing about Porter Moser, there's no denying his emotions, and there's no denying when he's unhappy and happy when he's coaching. And we've seen a little bit of both tonight.
Yeah, there's no confusion in terms of him on the sidelines.
No mixed messages. It is what it is. It's very clear.
go back to the earlier point, I think their struggles offensively, when they've really struggled, it really starts with Clayton Custer. He's the leader of this team. Yes, Towns and Krutwig are the guys we're talking about in terms of numbers for Player of the Year in the Missouri Valley Conference, but they need Clayton Custer to be on his game, and it's not necessarily even scoring, but they need to have his assist numbers up. Right now, I think that has been a struggle.
But oddly enough, Illinois State's getting away with a down game for Phil Fain. He only has 5 points. And he had been red hot coming into this game. Skopna. The three-point basket is impossible for Loyola. They have tried 9. They have missed 9. Evans had to get rid of it. Fain turns right into the defense. They are all over it. And deflected. And picked up by Krutwig. Hit ahead pass. That's going to be off of Copeland. And with 27 seconds to shoot, Loyola will get the ball back as both Evans and Copeland hustle back to stop that pass by Krutwig.
Well, that was a fast ball that Krutwig threw. Good play that time. But Evans got his hands up to deflect that, because if he didn't, that was going to be an easy deuce.
Custer's left open. It's just, and again, it's short. 0 for 10 from 3.
That one probably was his most wide open. He's had others, but that one, that time, nobody near him. That's a breakdown by Illinois State, but Custer could not make them pay.
Is that just dead legs that most of those shots have been short?
I think so, because everything's falling short, and again, that's a wide open look that he short-armed it.
Yeah, that's going to be a rebounding foul. Even though Krutwig was able to get it anyway, it'll be Idowu. I think that's going to be 3 on him.
Well, you like to hustle, but you got to understand score and time, and that's the last thing you want to do if you're Illinois State. Stop the clock and then put Krutwig on the line, give them a chance to set up their D.
His last 9 games, Krutwig has had 28 assists and 10 turnovers. He's got 3 turnovers and just 1 assist tonight, and he'll hit the free throw. He has 11. Towns has 14, and he's been stuck on that for a while. No other Loyola player in double figures. Meantime, Yarborough has 17, Evans 11 for Illinois State. Tough shot, Yarborough, and a rebound. Now, Illinois State seems to be in a slump, but Loyola can't do anything about it. Towns, good pass to Custer. Great pass. Towns will lay it in as there's another assist for Cameron Krutwig.
That's a beautiful pass by Krutwig.
That's another turnover. And you know who's going to be really happy there's a timeout more than anybody? Dan Muller. His team is not executing well on the offensive end, but they're taking advantage of a quiet shooting night for Loyola, and they maintain the lead at 13. 3.5 to go in the Valley.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get back to 100%. And in part by State Farm. Talk to an agent today at 800-STATE-FARM.
Well, Dave, the story of this game has been three-point shooting. Illinois State, right now, they're 10 of 23 for 43%. Some of them have been tough. Right there, the off-balance runner. Shot clock winding down. Some have been wide open that time. Phil Fain with the nice pass out of the double team. And on the other side, though, Loyola's struggles really has kept them out of this game. They are 2 of 17 for 11% in this game. That's your storyline right there. Illinois State's ability to knock down shots from beyond the perimeter.
0 for 10 in this half, Loyola. They're shooting 41% as a team. When they lose, they only shoot 38%, and they're right around that right now. However, Illinois State has not made a basket since the 8-minute mark. We're at 3:23 and counting, and Loyola has only been able to pick up 1 point during this run. And they got to hurry. So they're going to have to probably try the shot that has been their problem all night, the three, to get back in this game. And they're going to have to really hurry. Uguak underneath off a good pass. A shot block off Uguak's hands. And it's an empty calorie possession for Loyola. Evans, he'll try it. That's a painful one for the Ramblers. 16-point advantage. Krutwig goes to the other end, but 3 for 2 is not going to cut it.
Yeah, trading baskets, and nice job, though, by Illinois State, showing some patience.
Again, I don't think, Malcolm, and you're better qualified than I am, that the Loyola defense has been all that bad. They just have not shot it.
It really has not, and a lot of their threes have been contested. Illinois State, on the other end, Loyola's had some open looks.
Look at the defense here. They were down to 2. Copeland's going to find a little room. He's going to miss everything. A great defensive possession, but they also lost 30 seconds without anything happening on the offensive end.
Well, you'll take that possession. Obviously, you want to get a better look, but I think the key thing is they did not allow a transition opportunity for Loyola.
Krutwig, 3. Kafis. First made one of the half. Timeout, Loyola. The lead cut to 11 with 1:52 remaining.
And that's a heads-up play by Krutwig, but a poor decision by Illinois State. Again, in that situation, you got to stay home. The last thing you want to do is give up a wide-open 3. Krutwig, yes, he's a problem down low in the post, but you do not want to double from that angle. You want to come from the opposite side, but your rotation has to be there. You cannot give up open looks if you're Illinois State.
Is it time to start fouling?
You know, I think they're there, but I think you try to get a trap first. So you don't have to foul immediately. You're going to try to set up your defense, full court pressure, whether that's some type of 1-2-2 or full court man-to-man, but then you're going to trap, see if you can get a steal off the rotation, and then if you don't, you want to put the worst free throw shooter for Illinois State out on the court on the line. But you don't necessarily need to foul right away. You want to try to get a steal first.
Illinois State's only shot 8 free throws. They've only made 4 so far. Got a feeling they'll be shooting some more here, and Copeland will break free. And then he's going to have to hang on. Going to beat the double team, have it deflected, and Evans will catch it. They want Evans to have the ball, and he's got it. Back to Yarbrough with 10 to shoot. Looking for perhaps the dagger right here. 3. Yarbrough on the drive, pulls up, very difficult. Tapped up by Fain, and he's going to be called for the foul. We're going to shoot free throws with 1:19. A chance to cut this down to single digits.
That's a nice defensive stand by Loyola. And again, another over-to-back play by Fain. Again, you like the aggressiveness, but again, you got to understand scoring time. No need to go for this. That's a still, though, I don't think that's a over-to-back. Didn't look like there was much contact.
It's a 1-and-1, and this is a guy you do want on the line, although he's had a good evening tonight, Krutwig, but statistically not the best. And that looked short. No, he got it. So it's down to 10.
Now Loyola's going to set up their D.
They have 1 timeout remaining. Down to 9. Substitution Krutwig will come out. They'll go for a little more quickness with Skokna. Evans got rid of it nicely to Chastain, and he gets fouled by Bujoso. Fans are making more out of it, I think, than it was, and I think the officials are wise just to call it a common foul.
And he was just trying to catch him.
Yeah.
He was taking off, and he just wanted to make sure he did not get off. It looked a lot worse than it really was. Now it's going to come down to free throws for Illinois State and not turning the ball over in any type of trap situation that Loyola throws at him.
Well, the former Rambler, Matt Chastain, is on the line now. Didn't play last year. Played a little bit at Loyola as a freshman. Suffered a big knee injury. As he hits the first, he's a good free throw shooter, 78%. Krutwig will come in.
And I really like his energy. He took a couple of charges today, played really good defense on Marcus Towns. And again, he's a guy that does things that may not show up in the stat line. But certainly he makes some winning plays in the games with solid defense and some hustle plays.
That's his job, and he has earned a spot in the starting lineup for Dan Muller by filling up a box score. Krutwig. Got to shoot. Kafis. And that might be a self-applied dagger right there. Unbelievable shooting in a negative way for Loyola. 3 of 19 from three-point land. Only one made. Prison Mike is happy from the office. And Yarbrough will go to the line to perhaps nail this down.
Well, it's been an impressive performance tonight by Malik Yarbrough. The points, the assist, but I think the big number for him is the turnover column. He did a nice job taking care of the ball tonight in this game against Loyola.
And Yarbrough may have clinched it from the foul line. Towns. Oh, he drew a call. Oh, that will make Dan Muller insane. He's handling it better than I would have expected him to.
Well, it looked like a travel at first. Let's see here.
Right there.
That's a travel.
And I'm not so sure Yarbrough ever touched him.
Yeah, and that's a bad call. And
it's going to be 3 shots, too. Yarbrough just guilty of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, but you saw the pivot foot pick up.
And there's still plenty of time. I've seen crazier things happen at the end of games. A minute and a second left in this one as Towns is at the line for 3 and knocks down the first one, but that's a big break for Loyola.
These teams a game apart in the Missouri Valley Conference. Loyola in front by 1 game. They'll be tied if this score holds up, but Towns is going to get 1 more since he was fouled outside the circle. Bourgois comes back in.
The fans here at Redbird Arena are giving the refs an earful.
We can hear them, and luckily their language is clean. All right, he made all 3. So it's 61 seconds left, 10-point differential.
A little defense to offense, the substitution by Porter Moser.
And over the top to Yarbrough, who gets free. And just went in the end. Timeout taken by Illinois State, 57 seconds remaining. They couldn't catch him.
And Porter Moser not happy that he was able to get all the way to the basket, and that's the one thing you have to do, pick up the ball. Nobody was able to stop Malik Yarbrough, and that's the last thing you want in that situation, a wide open, uncontested layup. But Malik Yarbrough, make no mistake about it, He put on a show tonight right here, a little turnaround jumper. I call him one of the most versatile players in all of college basketball. He can play 1 through 5. Right there, degree of difficulty off the charts. But for me, his ability to make difficult shots, that's what makes him special. And he did it all night long. Right here, nobody picked up the ball, and that really is just a breakdown by Loyola, giving him an uncontested layup in that situation.
9th time this season, Yarborough has gone 20 points or better, averaging 17.
And only 2 turnovers in this game. I think that probably is the most important stat line.
And Yarborough will have it in his hands. And it looks like we are going to have a tie for first. There's a travel call with 42 seconds to go. I was about to say, it looks like we're going to have a tie for first in the Missouri Valley Conference. No good. Theme of the night for Loyola. 3-pointers right to the very end. Fighting for the ball. Possession arrow will favor the Ramblers. Illinois State's next game will be right here against Valpo. That's not going to be easy. As we take a look at the standings, which are not updated with this game yet, but both teams will be 7-3. Valpo will come in here at 5-5. Loyola will be hosting Drake, who are 6-4, and a tough out.
And really top to bottom, there's any given night, as we discussed, anybody can take a L as Custer finally gets a 3 to go, but it's been a struggle for him tonight.
That's his first made 3. Copeland, they try to steal, they can't do it, they foul, 27.9 to go. Shot clock has disappeared for the night. And Loyola just looking ahead for the moment. After Drake, they go to Valpo and Bradley. I believe you'll be at Valpo, will you not, on the 10th?
I will be there, and that's going to be another tough game.
You see the rest of it there, and listen again. Now they get a chance to get back at Missouri State, and they'll do that in Chicago. And Evansville is their last home game until March 2nd. They also have to go to take on the Salukis and UNI on the road. And the road has not been their friend in conference play. How about the fact that these teams are both going to be 14-9 and 7-3. Too little, too late, most likely. But 22 seconds ago, 8-point differential. Illinois State going to have to just hang on and go back to the foul line if Loyola can't steal the ball.
Well, I've seen crazier things, but certainly this one's not completely over, but this guy right here has been impressive. He's so important for them. Keyshawn Evans shot the ball lots out tonight. He hit some tough threes right here.
4 out of 8.
All over him. And then a degree of difficulty. Take the hit and finish. Great body control. He hit tough shots all night long. And he was a big reason why Illinois State is on top right now with 22 seconds to go.
Yep, 14 points and 3 assists, 4 out of 8 from 3-point tonight. 44% three-point shooting for Illinois State and 22% for Loyola. But a couple of those, actually 3 of them have come late in the game, and Illinois State has been able to hold Loyola off by making their free throws.
Well, although Illinois State has the higher percentage in terms of three-point shooting, they have more contested threes. Loyola had wide open looks in the second half. They just weren't able to get them the ball. Credit Illinois State on offense. They were able to just knock down some really tough shots.
By the way, Evans is now 15 three-pointers away from catching Dan Muller on the all-time list. Keyshawn's 6th right now in Illinois State history for made threes. He's creeping up to catch his coach. Yarborough's got some open turf. And turned it over. Let's see. And Yarborough will leave the game. Wow. Didn't see that coming.
Turnover, and Looked like he just lost his concentration.
Yep. That sideline was an extra defender. Got to shoot. Custer missed everything. Krutwig. One more time. That'll do it. Not even Reggie Miller can bail him out now. Illinois State and Loyola are tied atop the Missouri Valley.
If you're Dan Muller, you have to be pleased with the energy and effort that your team came out with tonight. It was an impressive win.
Final score for the final time, Illinois State 65, Loyola 57. For Malcolm Huckabee and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave Lamont. Coming up next, College Basketball Live, presented by Buick. We thank you for joining us and say goodnight from Normal, Illinois.